Alright guys, here's my Z950. I got the diff out of it. As you see, I went through the passenger side. That's the only side I had to take a couple control arms off. Wasn't bad at all. This side here, didn't even need to touch it. Once you get the diff unbolted and loose, just grab the whole diff and give it a yank, and that axle comes out like normal, like they're supposed to. So here's the diff. So the backstory on this: we got a monster fuel injection tune in it. I got my own custom cold air intake, you call it, but it's 100% high flowing. It's got a high flow exhaust on it. This bike had the crap driven out of it on the dyno. It's got a true 13-14 horse tune in it, and it will be well above that now that I've got all the upgrades on it. And once I get the new diff back in, we'll get it back on the dyno rollers and we'll actually prove some numbers. But with all this extra power that it's got, it grenaded the rear end. No, the bolts didn't come loose like a lot of people, I guess, have been having trouble with or talking about. I don't know. These are tight. They're torqued. I put an impact on them all. They're tight. Like, I got a wrap on it. I haven't got one loose yet. That's not the problem. The problem is the freaking yoke. The bolt for the yoke broke under the stress load. So I had this thing in low range, and I have a paved driveway, and I just got it all done and went outside to try out, see if it was making any more power with the upgrades I did. And I put it in low range, put it to the floor, and it smoked the tires off the back of it. Lit them up, and they smoked, and I thought, holy crap, that was awesome. So I backed up to do it again because I wanted to feel that. And right to the boards, it went right to max RPM. Tires lit up, and then suddenly I felt them bite because I had all that fresh rubber in the driveway, and they were sticky. It bit, and then she went boom. So I'm like, wow, I just blew the diff up in this thing. So anyways, I got it apart. Yeah, crown's toast, carrier's toast. And top it off, you notice there's no race bearing on there. What is up with that? Both sides, the races literally fall off. That's not supposed to happen. That has nothing to do with this damage and carnage. That is just not right. Those races are supposed to be pressed on here, because if that bearing for some reason, I don't know, if that race started to spin on here, which it would slowly rotate because it was not even pressed on, it was so loose, it would just wear it apart. So I wasn't happy to see that. I'll show you the yoke. So here's the yoke, and here's a bolt still sitting in there, factory grease, and you can see it's snapped in half. So this is what I'm thinking going on here. So we all know these bikes are made in China. They're not you know, people worry, oh, China parts, cheap, and they're probably right. They're probably right about that. The metal that this pinion's made out of maybe isn't up to like a US or Canadian specs or something. You know, I got to think about why this happened. So in order for that yoke to want to come off the end of this pinion to the point that it stretched a bolt and snapped it, this here would have to twist. And if this spline twisted under torque load, which it probably did, because it felt like the G-forces felt good enough that it probably would do something like that on a little pinion like this. So this pinion probably twisted, putting it on like a corkscrew shape, which would be enough to make this yoke want to do this and come off to the point the bolt said, yep, I'm done, and snapped. And then the pinion And this all happens within seconds. The pinion drops back into the crown, locks up. The crown's got nowhere to go but out the side of the thrust cover. And that bolt right there is actually a thrust bolt that is there to make contact with the crown under load, which is a little bit different. So this is a machine surface here that's designed to come in contact with that stud under load. So yeah, and it broke the cover because had nowhere to go, so it come this way. And yeah, I don't like that. I don't like any of that. And the fact that I'm putting the exact same differential back in the bike is kind of scaring me, because I want to use all this new power I got, but I can't because we have a weak link. Like, it blew the diff up. It didn't break an axle, and the thing's got 32s on it. You know what I mean? Usually CV axles will start snapping. Stub axles snap before you, well, have a pinion twist and blow a bolt off the end of the yoke. That's what happened, is the bolt broke because the pinion's weak. Like, there's no other, you can't explain that any other way. What happened there? Like, I wasn't running down the highway, you know what I mean? The thing wasn't like, I was doing like 10k in the driveway, 15k in the driveway, but it was under load, like heavy load, wheel spin, and then traction. I don't know if you guys ever broke a car or broke an axle in a drag car, but it felt the same way. I've broken lots of axles before. But yeah, all right, I guess I'll stop talking about it, and you guys can think about it, and don't get too hard on her in low range if you got a monster tune, that's for sure. I'm not joking, that monster tune, it works good. But you guys can purchase that right here on the group site. You just comment, Andy Brown or myself will chime in. The other thing too is Ty Zapatel, if you want to get some, if you guys want to get some AMSOIL, make sure these motors are running clean and free. Ty Zapatel, you can get the oil from him. You can comment on the group, same deal. Joey Dawson, he's also a local dealer. And any kind of repairs, modifications, pretty much you want to do something to the bike, you haven't got time, you haven't got a shop, you let me know. I got a shop here. I know a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys on the group that are very knowledgeable, and we can make anything happen for you. So have a good weekend, guys. Take care.